Yo, what is up, everybody? How's everyone doing? I hope everyone's doing good. I hope everyone had a good weekend. I'm sorry about the music selection today. I want to be able to play whatever the fuck I want, and I have had no issues in the past, but my last video I got like copyright claimed on a bunch of songs, and it caused the stream to actually get taken down, and then I had to go through the stream and mute all of the songs that I had played in order for the stream to go back up. So it was down for like over 24 hours, which means not a lot of people got to see it. And it was just a pain in my fucking ass. And I got all these fucking messages from my YouTube account being like, your song's been copyright claimed. So I didn't really know how that shit works. I didn't realize that I can not play copyrighted music. I thought I could as long as I didn't monetize the video, which I don't, but apparently not. So that's annoying, but I'm going to try and find a way to work around that, whether I have to buy the licensing for the music. I don't really know how it works, but super frustrating to say the least. But here we are. So I'm going to try and find a way around that because I do like jamming out to the tunes at the start of the stream. I feel like it gets me pumped up, puts us in a good place. And then obviously we can get on with the fucking stream. But yeah, so if anyone is very knowledgeable about how YouTube works with that kind of shit, feel free to shoot me a DM and we can chat about it, because I am trying to figure it out. I'd never had an issue before. Usually it just gives me a copyright claim and then it says I can't monetize the video, which I don't anyways. But in the last video it said that the video can't even be posted, and it took it down automatically. Yeah, I don't really know what's going on with that, but it's annoying. Because I do like to, yeah, I do think it's annoying as shit. Some people do suck. Okay, so yeah, no, that one had a banger, man. Okay, so let's get into the stream. I got my fresh new anime fucking hoodie on. We're ready to go. Quick shout out to the partners on the stream. As you guys know, I'm working with Prime. See the logo in one of these corners. So a lot of you guys have been doing great, helping me out, signing up to Prime, using the link and the Mayne 50 promo code. So keep doing that. I appreciate it. Make multiple accounts with multiple emails and sign up using the link and just make me look awesome to the overlords over there at Prime. But I appreciate that. Right now, Prime is running a deposit bonus special. So if you use the promo code Mayne50, so you make an account using the link, make sure you type in the promo code before you deposit any money, and then when you do deposit the money, you get up to $7,000 in deposit bonuses. It's based on how much you end up depositing, so a little bit of free extra money to trade with. So that's awesome. So thank you so much to the Prime team. I appreciate all of y'all for helping me out by supporting me and keeping these videos coming for you by just doing something as simple as making an account. So let's get into it. Let's get into it here, guys. In terms of looking at the charts, obviously I uploaded a video, I think it was on Friday, where I quickly just kind of covered my thoughts on Bitcoin, because we did have that breakout from about 38K up to now, you know, near 42,000. We hit as high as like 42,500 or something like that. I talked about the short that I took that obviously got stopped out, kind of my thought process on what was next for Bitcoin. But pretty straightforward, right? We had a weekly to weekly move, right? From weekly level to weekly level. And, you know, in all honesty, if I would have just taken my original trades where I longed down here, right? Remember, we posted longs on Twitter, on Discord. I talked about it on stream, longing in this weekly order block. If I would have just held those until this weekly resistance level, I would have made more money than all of the trades that I had taken in between, longing, shorting, longing, shorting, longing, shorting. So sometimes the high time frames are kind of better, you know, in terms of they're less stressful, there's less signals, there's less noise, but I'm a degenerate. I love looking at the low time frame. I love, you know, kind of getting in and out of trades, making money quickly. Sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't. The weekly to weekly move was pretty great, and so I'll kind of give some hindsight analysis. You know, what were the levels, where were they drawn from, and then we'll talk about what I think is next year for Bitcoin. We are into some resistance here. Do I think we can go higher first? All that kind of fun stuff. We'll take a look at Ethereum as well. We can take a quick look at the stock market, quick look at the dollar, and then obviously if you guys have any altcoin requests, we'll save those until the end. You know, overall, I'm pretty happy with how my trades went. Obviously, they weren't perfect. I had a couple stop outs, but, you know, made some really good money on my spot buys from the lows, had some nice margin longs play out on Bitcoin and on some altcoins as well on this relief bounce. So generally, my bias over the last 2 weeks, we've had these two long, you know, green weekly candles. My bias was to the long side. Even though we are still in a downtrend here, my bias was to the long side for at least intraday plays, and it worked out. So I'm happy with how that went. You know, overall, I think we're, you know, at an interesting point in the market. Do I know if the bottom is in for sure? Of course not. We did break that kind of, you know, downtrend line, but we've yet to put any sort of, you know, high time frame bullish market structure back in. So it's a little too early to tell, in my opinion, if the bottom is in and we're going back to all-time high or things like that. We can bounce, and we can bounce really hard, right? You know, like I've said previously, you have big bounces in downtrends. It's nothing goes down in a straight line, nothing goes up in a straight line, right? You have big bounces in downtrends. So still too early to tell, in my opinion, whether or not the actual bottom is in, but we for sure have at least a temporary bottom here. And I am looking to buy the dip this week if we get a dip to around 39,000. So I'll cover all of that. And then obviously, if you guys have any questions, as you know, I always keep an eye on the chat, because I like to make fun of people who ask stupid questions and bitch out people who try and talk shit and that whole thing. You know what I like to do. Yeah, obviously, if you have any questions, hit me up in the chat, and I will do my best to answer them. So we'll take a quick look at the chat here to go first, because I already see some people are upset. We had Tyler up here complaining about the music. We had another guy complaining, saying he unfollowed me on Twitter. I've 280,000 followers. I do not care if you unfollowed me. People liking the skinhead look. Yeah, I got the fresh buzz going on here, guys. I'm going to LA next weekend for the Super Bowl. So if anyone's in town, let me know. We can get some beers. But yeah, I had to get the fresh cut for the Super Bowl, because, you know, I'm going to be down there in LA. I'm going to be booling. It's going to be a fun time. This guy says 18 minutes in and still waffling. The fact that you use the word waffling tells me that you're British. Go eat some beans and fuck off. Okay. Let's see here. Can we get a weekly BitBoy rant? I went pretty hard on BitBoy last stream, so we'll probably ease up on BitBoy this week, if you know what I'm saying. But I'm sure there'll be some shots fired. Sploose says I'm bald. It's like, okay, dude, you're poor. What about it? So let's get into it here. So Bitcoin weekly order block took that previous weekly low, and we got long. Or I got long. I don't know what you guys fucking did. I feel like a lot of people are long from way higher, and that's why they're so upset. Yeah, I got long down here. My original target was 40 to 41,000, but I ended up closing early. So I initially closed out here. Once I saw this rejection, we had that H4 order block here. I'm going to actually go and draw that. we had this H4 order block here. So I got long down here. Once we deviated, reclaimed that weekly low, I was fully into a bunch of longs and long bias. And then we had this H4 order block that was rejecting price. And then when we had this last wick, I was like, okay, you know, we cleared out a bunch of highs. We've had a nice rally. I was hoping we were going to get a pullback down here. So I ended up getting short on the retest of this area. I did not short this move, but we had the run of these lows. And then when we came back up here, I was like, okay, I'll short here. And maybe we get a run a little bit deeper, put in a higher low, and then continue up. The plan was always 40 to 41K. So I closed out a bunch of my longs here, and I actually took a short here. The short ended up getting stopped out for 1R. So basically I'm as broke as, you know, Sploose here. I'm almost as poor as him after that stop out, but not quite. He's very poor. So I'd have to get stopped out probably 2 or 3 more times to be in his income bracket. But I thought we were going to dip deeper, essentially. I got stopped out, and then we had another pop to the upside. So I did paper hands some of my longs for sure. I'm still holding spot, so it's not like I missed this entire move up, but the margin longs that I had built here and here, I closed most of them out here. So I missed out on the last bit of the move. So that fucking happens, right? And I'm not afraid to admit that, you know, look, I caught a 15% of a 25% move. That's the majority of the move. I'm happy with that all day. Obviously, catching the entire move is better than not, but I locked in profits. I made money, so I'm happy. Obviously, you know, I'd love to flex that I caught this and fucking closed out here, but I didn't. I'm not gonna fucking lie to you like most people on Twitter will. I didn't get bearish here, but I thought we were gonna pull back, so I locked in a bunch of profits, thinking I would have a chance to reload lower, and I didn't get it. And that's trading, guys. That fucking happens. Sometimes you are wrong, and that's okay, right? I still made money. I caught the majority of the move, so I'm happy with that. But obviously, we broke through this area. This ended up being the higher low. Again, I was hoping to see these lows get run. This was it, right? We talked about this in my video on Friday. That SFP was it, and now we've rallied up into weekly resistance here. So if we zoom out again to the weekly, right? We've basically, this is what I mean by the weekly to weekly move. You could have just bought the weekly order block here and closed at the weekly bearish order block here. So bullish order block to bearish order block. Okay. It's a 20% move. Just level to level, literally one trade, right? So the high time frame obviously is goated. And I did have this plan, but I didn't execute it properly. I should have, you know, I was looking at a 4-hour resistance when really the real resistance was at the weekly level here. So we have popped a bit higher than the weekly level. You know, we're in this, people are already breaking out the stablecoin memes, right? Everyone, Bitcoin's a stablecoin now because it went sideways for 2 fucking days. This just shows me how new to the market some people are. Bitcoin was a stablecoin back fucking here. People don't remember this shit, man. People don't remember this shit. When Bitcoin was here, this was when Bitcoin was a stable coin. Okay, we're in like a 10% range. We're in like a 10% range here for months. Right? This is like 3 months here where Bitcoin was basically between like $6,000 and $7,000. For like ages. That's when the stablecoin meme was funny. Bitcoin being a stablecoin because it was in a tight range for 2 days just shows me that people are on the computer too much and they need to go outside and get some fresh air. Stop staring at this thing all the fucking time. But right now we're into that weekly order block. We had this little range. Is this a bull flag? I don't know, right? Could this be a bull flag? I don't know. But we have popped out of the top of it, and now we're retesting it. So the real question here, I think, for the Bitcoin bulls is, can you hold this 41,861 level, which is the bottom of that weekly order block, basically the top of this consolidation? Because if we're able to hold here, I think you target this next level, right? So if we're able to hold this retest, which it's doing right now, it's putting in the retest as we speak. If we're able to hold this retest, this would be my target, right? Maybe we get above this level, but I do think this is a high time frame weekly level here, right? I do think that this will give us some sort of pullback, whether the pullback starts from right here or a little higher. I think this is an interesting area from like an intraday perspective. So if we're able to hold this retest, I do think you target 43,100, right? Maybe a little higher. Maybe we run this high, but 43,100 for sure. Squeeze some late shorters, right? Some late longers as well, right? Get people to long late and then send it back down. But ultimately, I'm not really interested in trading in longs into weekly resistance here. This is that weekly bearish order block that caused this entire move down. So I'm not interested in opening up fresh longs here unless it is like a low time frame trade where you're like, okay, this is our retest. Here's my risk. Here's my target, and it's just a little trade, or maybe your stop is even closer. Sure, I can get behind that logic. But in terms of like a high time frame long opportunity, it's not here. I think you wait for it to either clear resistance, right? And then we're targeting like 46K up above all these highs. Or you wait for a pullback and you long lower. Personally, I would love a pullback down to here, right? So like give us this being your deviation, back into this range, break down, give us the BART meme, right? And then this would be a beautiful retest to get long. I think 39 to like 41, or to 40, excuse me, would be a great retest area of retesting this H4 order block. This becomes support. I would love to long something like this. I don't know if we get this though. We might not be that lucky. It might not come that deep. This might be it. It might just break out from here. I don't know. I'm waiting to see, right? So I don't really have a bias to the long side other than maybe a short-term long, right? Being like, okay, here's a breakout, and then here's the move to here. That's the only like current long I see without either going higher or pulling back further. I'm more interested in those two opportunities. Myself, I actually started up a short here, and I'm willing to add on that short up to this top level, right? And if we start consolidating above this level, I'll get out, or maybe I'll cut it above this high or something like that. So I've started shorting here, right? And I'm willing to short a little higher into this weekly order block with a target of down here, right? That's kind of my positioning right now. Gonna have to see it. You know, the new week just started. The weekly close, in my opinion, is bullish, right? This is a bullish weekly candle that we've just had. We are into resistance, but this is looks like a nice swing low that we've got that's formed here. Now we're into resistance. The question is, do we pull back and continue up? I don't know yet. So we did break that downtrend line that everyone had been watching. So we broke that downtrend line. So that's a good sign, but market structure is higher, right? Like the bullish market or the bearish market structure is still intact. This is a lower low. So until we make a higher high, like above here, some sort of rally into the 50s, I think is a premature call. It doesn't mean we can't do it, but like this is your swing high here. To me, I mean, you could argue this is it, but we're still below that. That generated the lower low. So this pullback could just be a lower high before lower. So it's still too early to tell if market structure shifting, but we have broken this downtrend line. I do think we're going to see, if we trade a little higher, we'll see another pop. I like this area around 46K. If we do pop higher and a target of these highs, right, as another area where price might reject from. But for now, I'm just kind of being patient. I'm waiting. I still got some spot on from lower here. We are into weekly resistance, so I got to wait before I make a decision in terms of, okay, are we going way higher, way lower? I don't know yet. So this is the most bullish price action we've had in 3 months. So you have bulls rejoicing on the timeline, people screaming for new all-time highs, people just generally being stupid. I wanted to say a different word there, but and this is, again, we're up 25% from the lows. This is awesome, right? But we're down 50% from all-time high when we put in this low. So there's a lot of work to be done before, you know, you can be like, we're for sure going back to all-time high again. But this is the most bullish price action we've had in a while. So there's reasons to be stoked, especially if you caught longs down here. I think it's great, but like bulls acting like bears are fucked. It's like, dude, bears have been you know, penetrating bulls for 3 months, and this is the first sign of relief in a while, and it is expected. Just like nothing can go up in a straight line without a pullback, nothing goes straight down in a straight line, right, without a pullback. Pullbacks are part of the game, right? And price does not move like this and like this, right? It goes like this and it goes like this, right? So I am bullish though for this week. I'm looking for longs again. If we get a pullback, I think there's a lot of confluence in that kind of 39 to 40K area. Let's see if I just draw out 39K here. Right? Obviously, some key SR here at those two levels. So any sort of retest of this area where we get a hold, I think is a long. If we get it. I don't know though. I don't know if we'll come that low. So still too early for me to tell. But the weekly into resistance, very nice move up from weekly level to weekly level. Now we wait and see, and we wait for our next setup. Again, could we pop up from right here? Absolutely. But if we fall back below this 41,861 level, like if we get an H4 close, notice how we broke through, we came back, we retested it, and now we're rallying. If we get an H4 close below this level, I think it's likely that we trade down to here. And this is an area I'd look to long. If we're going to hold this level and we're going to trade higher, above 43, you know, and showing some bullish market structure, I might be interested in longing. But I've actually started to scale in a short here, just a tiny bit, not big size yet. And we're going to wait and see. It's early in the week. It's a brand new week. We've got CMI this week. Stock market still looks kind of shaky. So still a lot to kind of be determined. But obviously, it's nice to see the bulls win. As much as I might talk about price going down and short opportunities and things like that, I'm always a bull at heart. I much rather long crypto than be short crypto. Bull markets are way more fun. Being a bull is just generally better. Being a bear sucks, right? Bears deserve to be exterminated. Not real life bears, but, you know, crypto bears and things like that. Because I firmly believe everyone makes more money when things go up, and I'm all for that. I want everyone to win, right? I want everyone to win. And I think a lot of people have a really hard time surviving in the downtrend. So I'm always down for Bitcoin to go up. I want it to go way higher. I want us to make a new all-time high this year, but I just play level to level, right? What I want is not necessarily how I trade. Yeah, so we'll see what happens here. Again, this is the area that I'm watching for resistance, this weekly order block. So let's see what price does here. It's still early in the week, but 41,861, this is the Bitfinex chart. So if you want to replicate this on whatever chart you're trading, go to the weekly and draw out the open and close of that weekly order block, and you'll get those two levels that I'm watching. And let's wait and see. We're in there right now. Let's see how the start of the week goes. Is the high of the week already in, or is the low of the week going to get put in early, and then we're going to continue up? But my bias for now is kind of neutral. If we pull back here, I'm longing. If we consolidate above 43,100 and put in bullish market structure, I'm getting long again, targeting 46,000. Okay, so I think that's a pretty straightforward plan for Bitcoin. I'm going to check the chat here, make sure everyone's on the same page, and then we will take a look at Ethereum. Ethereum. We now had a 50% retrace on the daily, this guy's saying, for a lower high. So yeah, you could argue that, you know, this is a 50% retrace, or what? What are you saying? 50% from where? From there, I guess, if that's your swing, right? But to me, the swing is actually here, right? So we're actually above that already, but we'll see. Looking at the weekly, right, you got to remember, here's your weekly swing high up here. So there's a 50% pullback. But we can come all the way up to here. Remember that 46K level I gave you? Well, that's a weekly swing failure, or that's a weekly 70% pullback into a weekly order block. This is your weekly down leg right here. So we could come all the way up here and then sell off, right? So that's why I'm saying if we trade up through this 43 level that I'm talking about here, my next target would be into this order block, which is the weekly bearish order block that is from swing high to swing low. This would be the area, right? Now, what's the most bearish situation I can imagine is if we reject from here. Most bearish situation is we reject from here, and then we come down here, and then we lose this. If we lose this, I think we're going back into this low. So that's like the most bearish situation that I see. I personally don't see that happening. I'm more interested in being a longer, like a bull here if we come back this low. But if we lose this 4-hour order block here and this kind of 39 to 40K SR area, if we get back below there, I think we go much lower. Like I think you short this target here. What's my avatar? I don't know, man. I can't even remember picking it. It was from 2014, 15. I'm pretty sure I just typed in like robot bird or robot goose or something like that, or like space goose, and that was the first thing that came up. When fight with BitBoy? I don't think BitBoy would ever fight me. He's short and fat. I'm tall and jacked. It's not a fair fight. Which part of the stadium is your seat? I'm not going to the actual Super Bowl. I looked at tickets. They're like $5-6 grand, and the tickets are for shitty seats. So I'm going to LA just to be there during Super Bowl weekend. It's LA, great city, lots of fun shit going on. They're hosting the Super Bowl, one of the biggest party weekends in America, and LA's team is in the Super Bowl. Seems like a good time. So I'm actually going to be at the FTX Super Bowl party to watch the game. Do you think we'll see 38K this week for another bounce? I kind of already explained that this is an area I'd look to long. All of you guys on YouTube and CT always buy low and sell the top. It's quite mind-blowing. I'd venture to say that that's not true. All right, about time the skinhead starts talking charts. It's about time you go fuck yourself. How's that sound? You're banned from the channel. See ya. No one is going to see your messages anymore. So you're going to be able to type messages, but they just won't show up. I won't see them. Other people won't see them. So you still exist, but not in my world anymore. How's that feel? Must be weird. You're going to be like talking to a wall. You think you're going to be like, oh, I got that guy on the internet this time who's posting free shit on YouTube. I fucking made fun of his haircut. But no one's going to hear you. Your existence is insignificant to me. All I did was right click, delete. You're gone forever. I'm never going to hear from you again. Kind of funny how easy that is, hey? Crazy. I love technology. It was nice knowing you, though, man. You had a good run. You got a couple of jabs in there. I'm sure you feel good. Sure you're feeling stoked. Let's see here. Did you get some alts after the BTC pump? Yeah, we did. We longed one. I say we because I assume you guys take similar trades to me, but who fucking knows? I longed one, I longed Solana, and I longed Luna. So I definitely got in some nice altcoin longs, right? That's the key. My bias on Bitcoin, guys. Remember, I always talk about this. I always talk about having your high time frame bias in mind, and then that's going to frame all the trades that you take, right, on lower time frames, on other assets as well. So if I think Bitcoin is going to see some relief, I want to go look at altcoins that might also be coming into support because they might have some asymmetric upside, and they might bounce harder than Bitcoin, things like that. So when I knew that my bias was to the long side early on, it made it easy for me to go into other charts, look for longs, and obviously capture some of that upside, not just on Bitcoin alone. Knowing the direction that you think things are going to do, that's one of the first things you need to figure out before you enter any sort of trade, right? What is my bias? Do I think we're going up? Do I think we're going down, right? Because if you think we're going down, right, you need to be looking for reasons to get short, right? You know, if you think you're going up, you want to be looking for reasons to get long. It sounds simple, but if you believe that we're in a high time frame area of support, you need to be ignoring, you know, short signals until we get to an area that you think is high time frame resistance, things like that. You got to figure out what your bias is. Do you think price is going up or down? Okay, that's step one. Now go into the charts and find things that support that bias, right? Maybe the real resistance is the friends we make along the way. Don't lie, none of you guys have friends. Come on. You're spending your Sunday night watching a random dude talk on the internet. You don't have friends. Don't lie to yourself and don't lie to me. Would you say consolidation under resistance is bullish? I don't know. I don't really like to speak in absolutes. Only a Sith speaks in absolutes, and I'm no Sith. But it's a Star Wars joke. I am a nerd. That part is true. I say it depends, right? If the trend is up and we're consolidating under resistance, sure, it's bullish, right? If the trend is down and we're consolidating above support, you could argue it's bearish, but I don't like, it doesn't always work like that, right? Sometimes we consolidate under resistance and then we reject, right? Sometimes we consolidate under resistance and we go up, but you know, as a rule of thumb, sure. What time frame do you use for confirmation for holding? It depends on the time frame that you entered the trade on, right? If you entered the trade on the H4, you're probably going to want to look at H4 levels and closes to determine if you want to stay in your trade or not, right? If you're looking at the weekly as a reason to get long here, right? But then you're watching on the H4 and you saw an H4 lower low and you close your longs, right? Well, look what happened, right? You fucked yourself. But high time frame takes precedent over low time frame generally. What leverage you use? Leverage is irrelevant. Isn't it a bit too bullish looking at isn't it a bit too bullish looking at other markets? I don't know, right? I don't know what stocks are going to do this week, right? Stocks could open up huge tomorrow and catch up to Bitcoin. Maybe Bitcoin's finally decoupling. I don't fucking know. I'm just playing level to level as I see it, as opposed to trying to make some macroeconomic fucking decision. Jesus Christ, chat's going crazy today. I love you too, Swag Sison. Yeah, I'll look at the S&P 500 later. What's up, Rack Proof? How you doing, homie? Yeah, sorry. I had to get rid of someone. All right, Sploose. I hope you had a good run, man. We'll see you later. You've been added to the void. Do you think the Casta paid BitBoy for his shill? Of course he did. Of course they did. Come on. He got probably paid in money and in Casta tokens. All right, so everyone clear on the plan for BitBoy, or for BitBoy? For the guy's infiltrating my brain. I can't get rid of him. Is everyone clear on the plan for Bitcoin here? Interested in longing down here if we get it. I don't know if we will. If we hold above 43,100, my next target is 46,000. We are into weekly resistance, so I'm looking for signs of rejection here if we get it. Everyone on the same page? Short BitBoy max leverage. You're going to get stopped out on that, man. He's too big to short. He's too, you know how like the economy was too big to fail? BitBoy is too big to short. Okay. Yeah, the CME gap, BTC, CME. CME gap is here. So do we fill this? I don't know, right? There's the CME gap, but if we fill that gap and then come into my little order block here, that would be nice. I don't know though. We're gonna find out pretty soon, I imagine. I'm expecting a volatile week, right? We just had a big breakout. I'm expecting volatility. All right. I'll leave that on. We'll see if that gets filled. Okay, so that's Bitcoin done. We're going to wait and see what happens here. I'm going to take a look at Ethereum now. Where's all my levels? Wait a minute. Hold on. Hold up. Wait a minute. Something ain't right. What the fuck's going on? What the fuck's going on here? Ah. I see the error in my ways. I deleted my chart for some reason. Okay. Okay, so Ethereum. Same shit, different chart, right? We drew out the weekly levels that we were interested in, right? So we had this weekly SR, and then we had the weekly bullish order block. Exact same as on Bitcoin, right? We came down into the level, put in a low, a lower low, a higher low. So my bias on Ethereum was to the upside, right? For the last 2 weeks, I had posted longs on Ethereum in the low 23, 23 to 2400 because we came into that weekly order block and then we put in low time frame bullish market structure, which gave me a very clear long setup right here, right? There's our first level, ran it into another key level, reclaimed it. That is your long, that's your risk. Target was right there, right? Where did I close? Here. So I missed this entire last pop, but that's fine. I caught a very nice trade here. Very similar to Bitcoin, right? We had a weekly level here, right into another weekly level, right? Or just shy of another weekly level here. There's your weekly bearish order block. We're in it right now. So this is weekly supply. This is an area where I would look for price to reject. Now this is a huge box. This is a 15% box, right? So you don't just short here. You could technically short here or start shorting here and put your stop there. But that's not really how I like to trade. What I rather do is say, okay, we're into weekly resistance here. I now want to see signs of rejection and then make a decision, right? And that's exactly, it's no different than here. When we came into that weekly bullish order block, you could have just longed your first touch, but you zoom in and you wait for bullish price action to form, right? This is an area I want to be looking for longs. Show me bullish price action on the low time frame. This is what I'm talking about. Low, lower low, higher low. Break in market structure, higher low. Break in market structure, higher low. Break in market structure, potential higher low. Now if we're up here and we're looking for rejection, well maybe I want to see something like this. The complete inverse of this. This would be what would get me to short in this area. So rather than just shorting here and putting a stop up here and being potentially in drawdown for a while, just based on the weekly, if you just trade the weekly, that's totally fine, right? But I'm much more interested in finding some sort of low time frame setup because now my risk is here, my entry is here, and I'm not sitting in drawdown for potentially days before it turns around, right? The other thing that you have to keep in mind, and this reminds me of a stream I did a few weeks ago where there's some guy telling me like, oh, your stop is 15% away, like that's a bad stop. And it's like, okay, well that guy just doesn't understand risk management. Here's the thing, if you're just trading this purely off the weekly, I would say, let's say I was taking this trade purely off the weekly, and my expectation was that we eventually trade down to here because I'm bearish, let's say. Okay? But I'm taking the trade off the weekly, not off the lower time frames. I would enter this trade probably by putting my first set of orders at the base of the weekly order block, and then I'd put my next set of orders around the EQ. This is close enough to the EQ, I'm just eyeballing it. So let's assume that we push a little bit higher. Okay, so my order, let's say I put half my order at 29.30 and the other half of my order at 31.50. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna whip out my calculator. I'm gonna say, okay, 29.30 equals that. So I'm gonna take 29.30, I'm gonna plus 31.50, I'm gonna divide it by 2. My average entry would be about 30.40. Let's assume that I got filled half my order here and we pushed higher and I got the other half of my order here. Okay, we're speaking in a hypothetical, obviously. Okay, my average entry would be 30.40. Okay, my stop would be up here. My target would be here. It's a 3.5 hour trade, right? Now, some people say, okay, well, your stop is 12%. This is what that guy was saying. I forget that guy's name. It's crazy how quickly people just disappear out of my existence. I had this beef with this guy in a stream a few weeks ago. Like, it was heated. And now I don't even remember his name. Just like those two guys that I've banned from this chat. Completely gone. Completely forgotten. They no longer exist. It's crazy. It's like I'm Thanos, whatever the fuck you want to say. I say Thanos. Some people say Thanos. I don't really care. But then I just snapped, dusted. They're gone. Not even Tony Stark is saving them. Major Marvel spoiler there, if you're not up to date on the movie from like 4 years ago. Okay? Some people might say that, oh, well, your stop is 12% away from your entry. That's fucking awful. That's terrible. But what they don't understand about risk management is like, yeah, my stop is 12% away, but my target is also 43% away. So I'm still getting a 3.5 risk to reward, and the position size is going to be drastically different. If my stop is 1% away from my entry, my position size is going to be way bigger than if my stop is 12% away from my entry, because that's how you calculate position size. You need to know the distance from your entry to your stop. Right? And that's why you need to understand risk management before you start leverage trading. My position size on a trade like this will be much smaller than my position size on a trade with a much tighter stop. But my negative 1R, let's say I get stopped out on this, my negative 1R, it's the same amount of money because the position size is calculated to ensure that I'm only risking 1, 2, whatever percent of your portfolio you risk on a given trade. Right? So some people will always give me shit being like, oh, that box is so huge. I'm like, you're dumb. Like, I don't know how many times I have to explain it. The position size is determined based on where your entry is and how far away your stop is, right? Because if your stop is 10% away from your entry, you cannot open a 10 Bitcoin long or short like as if it was 1% away. You'll lose way more money. So you adjust your position size accordingly. But that is technically how you could take this trade on the weekly if you were bearish for lower. I don't like trading this way. I'm saying, okay, we're into weekly resistance. I do think that this is an area where price could reject, but I'm much more interested in having a lower time frame trigger. The problem with that weekly trade is I could be in drawdown for a while. I don't really trade off the weekly. I use weekly for analysis and for bias, for targets and things like that. But in terms of my entries, I'm usually entering on the daily and the H4, sometimes the hourly, sometimes the 12-hour. I'm not usually entering based on the weekly. So I'm much more interested in waiting for something to happen on the low time frame that confirms that this is resistance. And now I'm getting in here with a much tighter stop and potential for a greater risk reward, right? Because I can still use that weekly target, but my entry was dialed in on the lower time frame. Okay? Hopefully that makes sense. This guy says, don't make fun of me. I'm new to the crypto world. What futures and stock do you look at? S&P, NASDAQ? I won't make fun of you because you asked so nicely. I use the S&P. I'll look at the NASDAQ. I also look at the dollar. Sometimes you can look at Aussie yen because that's a good facsimile for the stock market in terms of they're correlated. But that's about it. Some people look at bonds, some people look at interest rates. I don't really go that deep. Jay Lamb, go watch my video on order blocks. I explain. You got to get crypto cred on stream. I will get cred on a stream in the future. Last time I had cred on a stream, I wasn't able to figure out the audio and he got impatient, so he left. Understandably so. Isn't BTC mining becoming more costly, even more the next halving? I don't actually know. So I'm not going to answer that and sound stupid. I don't actually know. It's not something I pay attention to. I like when streamers have a cute kitten to take breaks and play with. I'm a dog person. Fuck cats. I like cats too, but I'm a dog guy. Can we see your fib levels, please? Jesus Christ, guys. My fib levels are not special. They're not special. They're just regular fibs. There they are. Pause your video, screenshot it, copy and paste. Yo, you just ruined Avengers. Okay, what time frame do you use to confirm a deviation? Again, that depends. What time frame are you analyzing? If it's a 5-minute range and price does this, right? You're going to be looking at the 5-minute. But if this is a weekly range, right? And there's a few 5-minute candles above here, and then it closes back in, or then it continues up, right? It's all dependent on the time frame that you're analyzing on. Confirmation is based on the time frame that you are using. So confirmation is relative, much like time. I'm trying to sound smart by quoting fucking like Isaac Newton or fucking some shit. Time is relative. Gravity is relative. I forget. Either way, I'm not a scientist. That's gonna get clipped. I'm gonna look stupid. But it's relative, right? So it's relative to the time frame. If you're looking at an H4 level, right, you're gonna want to see where the H4 candles close relative to that level, because you might get 5-minute candles close through and then it ends up bouncing, right? So let's say you have H4 support here. Well, this is the 5-minute chart. And you're going to say, well, fuck, I shorted because we closed below. But when you look at the H4, this was the candle. It was just a wick on the H4, right? This is important. Something on my ear. No, I don't. Your hair transplant is looking really good. I've thought about getting a hair transplant, but it seems like way too much work. I'd rather just shave my head like I do. But if I ever get one, I'll let you know. I'll take pictures. 3.5R versus 2R with the same stop loss percentage. Do you position the 3.5R bigger? That question doesn't even make fucking sense. Your position size and how much R the trade might give you does not mean that you take a bigger position or you risk more, right? You determine your risk in advance. How much of your trading portfolio do you want to risk on any given trade? So if you get stopped out, how much are you willing to lose? That's your 1R, right? Is it 1%, 2%, 3%? There are situations where I'll risk 2% on a trade, and some trades I'll risk 4%. That might just have to do with the confidence I have in the setup. It's not necessarily because I'm hoping that it's a bigger risk reward. Will the stream with CBS happen? Yeah, I'd love to make it happen. I'll have to reach out to him. When stream with Rookie? Whenever Rookie gets out of rehab. Hey, Mayne, you a big order flow guy for entries. I've never used order flow before. I'm getting blurry because the lighting is changing. So it's causing some issues with the fucking the green screen here. Hold on. Is that better? I know it's darker, but it might be more clear. Purple. Okay. Do you gamble? How degen are you? I love to gamble. Rookie's not in rehab, guys. I'm joking. Jesus Christ. Okay, cool. So let's look at Ethereum, or we are looking at Ethereum. So again, right, into resistance here. Let's wait and see what happens. We had a reason to be bullish at the lows because we were into weekly support. Now we're into weekly resistance. Let's see if it gives us a reason to be bearish. I'm not blindly shorting. I'm waiting to see if price gives me a reason to be bearish, and then I will make a decision. But we could trade as high as 3150, no problem. Even higher, deeper into this area. If we're able to clear this resistance, the next target is much higher. So let's wait and see. But right now, again, just like on Bitcoin, the best trade, literally weekly level to level, 35% move, just from weekly level to weekly support to weekly resistance. Okay, but into resistance now. Let's see what happens. I'm not interested in just blindly shorting. I want to see price show some signs of rejection. Okay, Ethereum BTC we fucking nailed. So we had talked about this high getting run. We had talked about, this is from a couple streams ago, this huge range that we were in for ages. We finally got back above the mid-range. We got to the high. We ran that high, and then basically I wanted to see this hold. And I wanted to see Ethereum make a higher high after this low, right? So broke out of the range, higher low. Once this failed, and we got a bearish retest here, this now became a deviation to me because it became clear that this was not a breakout of the range, rather just a run of the top side. And once we had this retest, I said, we're going back to at least the mid-range. Fake out the top of the range, first target, back to the mid-range. And that's exactly what happened. We came right back into the mid-range. Boom, we're seeing a bounce now. If we get back below the mid-range now, target the lower part of the range, right? But this is pretty clear. High, low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low. Potential lower high? I don't know yet. So mid-range, target achieved. Now let's see what happens here going forward. If we come back below the mid-range, so we're probably going to trade back into here. And if we come back below here, we go to here. If we're able to find this as support, then we can target back to the upside of the range. Right now, with the way BTC dominance is looking, I wouldn't be surprised if this sells off a little bit more. But we'll wait and see. Okay, but there's your deviation example right there. I wanted to see it break out. It came back into the range, and it failed to make a higher high. Now I'm short biased back into the mid-range. There was a perfect retest and a sell-off. Okay. Looking at Stonks. So Stonks been trading pretty fucking clean. We had that deviation above all-time high. Retest. I told you guys I'm targeting back into here, this low, into this 3-day order block. There was our key level. We got a huge bounce right into resistance, and now we're rejecting. So we're gonna have to see. I don't think stocks look great. I really want to see them get back above this 45.80 level before I'm bullish again. If we're able to get back above here, then I think we can see upside in our continuation on our march to infinity, because that's apparently all stocks wanted to do for the last 2 years. But right now, this is a very clear rejection. A lot of money could have been made buying calls here and selling puts here, short-dated ones. Yeah, we'll wait and see what happens here. New York opens at 6 a.m. my time, or 6:30, so about 12 hours from now is when the stock market opens. I mean, the futures are open, but like opens and gets active in about 12 hours. So we'll wait and see. I'm not sure I'll be up for that, but I'm making a point to try and get up earlier this week. My sleep schedule's been fucked. I've been staying up really late, and trading into the night. But then all of the moves seem to happen at like 4, 5, 6 a.m. my time, going through to the New York Open till about lunchtime. So I'm going to try and go to bed earlier and wake up when it's volatile as opposed to trying to stay up all fucking night. But we'll see. Let's see how stocks open to start the week. Do we pull back here and then bounce? I don't know yet, but we've tracked every move so far pretty well. Zooming in a bit, we have this 12-hour level here that could potentially be support, but if this area fails, I'm looking at 44.07 is an area where we get a reaction. Okay, so if stocks open, tomorrow and they start selling off hard, wouldn't be surprised if Bitcoin follows suit, right? But yeah, equity trader Mayne. Looking at the dollar, I talked about the dollar looking bearish, which would be inherently bullish for Bitcoin. Obviously, we had this huge rally on the dollar. Look where this rally on the dollar started. In May of 2021. Major rally on the dollar. What happened to Bitcoin? This was the top. I mean, obviously we had another all-time high. We had the double top form, but when Bitcoin started changing trend to the downside, the dollar started going up, right? And where was the next top on Bitcoin? So we have April 13th, and then we have November 21st. Here is April, right here. This is April. Dollar started getting strong. November, put in another low, right? There's the next dump on Bitcoin. Dump on Bitcoin, dump on Bitcoin. When did Bitcoin rally, right? In the summer, dollar was going sideways. Once the dollar started rallying again really hard, made new highs above here. This was literally the 69K top. Dollar made a higher high. We have put in a big high time frame swing failure pattern. It's still way too early to tell if we're going to retrace a bunch of this move. The most bullish situation for stocks and Bitcoin would be if dollar does one of these, right? Like if dollar trades back down into some of these levels, kind of like your market maker sell model, if it does one of these, that would be a good opportunity for Bitcoin to rally higher. But it's too early to tell, right? But that is a bearish sign on the dollar. We are on, what is this? The 27th of January. Here's the 27th of January on Bitcoin, right? So when dollar dumped, Bitcoin rallied. So let's see what happens. Again, still way too early to tell if this is the end of this rally, but we are into this resistance over here, right? We're into resistance here. We put in a swing failure pattern. So if this sells off, that would be a good sign for Bitcoin and crypto and equities to trade higher. Do I do anything to increase mental performance? Yeah, I go to the gym a lot. The gym is huge for me. Did you ever get your account blown up? Yeah, tons of times. When I was learning to trade, I blew up my account tons and tons and tons of times. Sorry, this is not about TA. You should be sorry. But would like to know your opinion. You got to realize sometimes I read your guys' questions and the English is really bad and I read them verbatim and I'm dyslexic as is, so it makes me sound even dumber. But I'm reading this verbatim. I know, sorry, this is not about TA, but will like to know your opinion. Do you believe GoFundMe Bitcoin situation will be required push to change bearish sentiment about BTC in retail market? I have no fucking idea. I have no idea. I don't like making I have my own views politically, and I've shared them briefly, on here, on stream, on Twitter, and things like that. But what I've learned is we are in the most divisive kind of political environment that I've ever been alive for. I'm 31 years old, where it's like if you're on one side, you hate the other side. You know, if you're not with us, you're against us. If you agree with this, well, then you're this. If you disagree with this, well, then you're this. Like, it's so fucked. Whereas I remember it used to be like, oh, well, I think this. Oh, I think this. Okay, let's go along about our merry ways. And now it's like an all-out warfare where everyone is just fighting each other. It's super divisive. I think it's gross because there's no area for conversations anymore. It's just either like, if you don't agree with me, fuck you, basically. So I don't really like to comment on politics anymore on Twitter or on YouTube or anything like that, because people will just try and stick you with something, being like, oh, you said this, so do you believe in this? Or you said that, so you believe in that? What my views are none of people's business, to be honest with you. And I don't care what other people's views are either. Like, I might not agree with what other people think. It's not my place to tell you what to fucking think. Make your own decisions. And I will I'll fucking support it. I think the media has really pushed this narrative on both sides. I'm not saying it's just one side or the other. On both sides of this divisiveness where it's like we're all fighting each other. And I'm more of like a conspiracy theorist, being like, okay, well, if they're dividing us, it's easier for them to control us. That's more of the mindset I'm in. But again, I don't really I don't want to make any sort of political arguments. This stream is about having a good time, listening to some tunes, talking about charts, that sort of thing. See you later, Golf Hub. Thanks for hanging out. If you work off the higher time frames, why do you feel the need to be glued to the screen throughout the night? Because I'm addicted to trading, and I like trading the low time frame as well. I'm a degenerate. That's why. Mayne, do you live off crypto, like pay your expenses? Yes, I do crypto full time. I don't have a job. I mean, I do have a job. This is my job. I make YouTube videos. I trade crypto. I do own a recruitment company, but I'm not active in it anymore. I'm getting into trading, but I'd love to get your opinion on leverage trading, if one should use it. I think don't even touch leverage until you have a solid understanding of how to trade and how markets move, and you know how to make a trading plan and things like that. There's no reason to get into leverage too early. Quick way to blow your account, because most of the people, as I always say, use leverage improperly. Do you do any on-chain stuff? No. Oh, you mean like you're not saying analysis? Yeah, like I do some DeFi stuff, and I use some decentralized exchanges as well, for sure. Some farming and staking, things like that. It's not my wheelhouse. I'm not that good at it, but I have some smart friends that help me out. Do you trade spot the way you trade margin, or less strict because no risk of getting stopped? You absolutely have a risk of getting stopped, right? Like, let's say you buy everything is a trade, whether it's spot or leverage, right? Let's say you buy Bitcoin right now at 42K because you think it's going back to all-time high. You say that there's no risk of being stopped. Well, are you going to hold that Bitcoin all the way back to 10K if it goes there? Right? Or are you going to say, okay, well, if it goes back below 32, I obviously was wrong and I'm cutting those spots and I'm selling. So you still have a stop, right? It might not be a hard stop like you do when you're putting in a leverage trade, but you still know where your idea is wrong, or you should, right? Because if I bought spot at 30 even, like let's say I bought the spot here and we do this, like I'm not just going to hold this all the way fucking down, right? I'm going to have an idea where that trade idea is. I'm going to have a spot where that trade idea is wrong, and I'm going to get out and I'm going to reassess. So you still have a stop, or you should. Mayne, we hitting the Roxy tonight? Absolutely not. I was actually downtown last night on Granville, and it was a fucking zoo. The Roxy's line was ridiculous. I hate waiting in line. It's like my biggest pet peeve. And because of COVID, at least here in Canada, most venues are limited to 50%. So there's huge lines everywhere. And a lot of bouncers are just like power tripping assholes and won't let me pay to get in because I don't want to wait in line. So did you watch the new ICT videos on YouTube? No, I haven't. I can't do ICT anymore. I love ICT because he taught me a lot of what I use and know, but I don't need to learn anything else from him. And I've spent so many hours going through his videos, I just can't anymore. Okay, let's see. Look at gold. Sure, I love gold. Oh, sorry, guys. I forgot that I have the Twitch chat going on. Let me pull up the Twitch chat for a minute here. Shit, we got 70 people on Twitch. Goddamn. Okay, I'm gonna analyze gold, and then I will catch up on the Twitch chat. I didn't realize I had a bunch of people trying to message on Twitch as well. So gold, right? If the dollar pulls back further, I'm bullish on gold for a little bit higher. So I've drawn out this 12-hour range here. We have a nice little breaker here. So if gold is able to break to the upside, my target on gold would be about 1840. So just a retracement within this 12-hour range. We had a big SFP here. Made a range low. We've got a range high. So I'm looking for a retracement into the range. And then I'm interested in seeing what price does. Is it going to continue higher? Or is it going to reject? But my draw on price for gold right now is, I think, probably first target would be filling in some of this fair value gap right here. 1822, right? Up until, I mean, this is a pretty big gap here. This is down only PA right here. So 1820 to 1840, I think, is the draw. I know that's a big area, but I'm pretty sure we fill in some of this candle at the very least. So that's what I'll be watching for on gold here. Retracement into this range, and then potentially a short, right? The trend is still down for the most part, right? This is a lower high. So are we going to come up here and reject? I don't know yet, but 1830 to 1840 is my target on gold for upside for now. I'm not in a trade though, so let me make that part clear. But watching gold for sure. Okay. What's up, Twitch chat? Main drawing diagonal lines. Make a peace sign if you're being held hostage. Help me. How to deal with FOMO? Have a plan, right? If you have a plan, there is no FOMO. I mean, there's always FOMO. It's just something you're gonna have to learn to deal with and try not to give into. But if you have a plan, it's a lot easier to deal with. The reason most people feel FOMO is because price is going up and they're not in a trade, they're not in a long, and they want to get long, so they fucking end up buying at the top because they're like, oh, it's going to the fucking moon and I missed the entry, I better buy, right? What do you think those videos all of these shitty YouTubers make induce? 100x altcoin, right? This is the altcoin that's going to get you rich. Bitcoin breaking out now, last chance to get on board before the moon, right? It's inducing emotion, it's inducing FOMO, right? So if price is going up without you, like this, and you're not in a long, you're gonna feel FOMO. You're gonna be like, oh shit, everyone's telling me Bitcoin's going back to all-time high and I'm not in a trade. But if you have a plan saying, okay, well, if it comes back here, I'll long, or if it breaks out above here, I'll long. Now you have a plan and you just chill and you just wait for one of those two scenarios to get put in motion so you can get on board, right? The problem most people have with FOMO is they don't have a fucking plan. So their fear of missing out is real because they don't know how to get on board, right? If you create a plan, it becomes a lot easier to deal with FOMO. So right now, Bitcoin's doing what I thought, right? For now. Came back, retested the range, it's pushing up. So let's see what happens here. A little bull flag, retest, breakout. What's your neck training routine? I was born this way, bro. I don't know. Deadlifts, bench press, shoulder press, all that kind of shit. Maybe some steroids. Ever watch Dragon Ball? What if BitBoy pulls a Boo and absorbs you? He could get quite powerful then. If BitBoy absorbs me like Majin Buu, it's over for everyone. It's over. And are these CME gaps in the room with us? Yes, they are. Wait, you got a hairline. I've always had a fucking hairline, guys. Jesus Christ. Thanks, Mayne, by the way, for the knowledge and help you provide. Thank you. That's a very nice message. So if we're trading off plan B, we can buy BTC and ride it to zero and still have like 5R. Sure. What's the lowest time frame you do business at? I try not to go any lower than the hourly, but sometimes when I'm being an idiot, you'll find me on the 5-minute. Do you you mean publish or share your trades before you enter? Sometimes, but if you're just looking to copy my trades, you can fuck off. Get your own, bro. I will try and do a stream with Cheds. I've been DMing with him. Nothing's wrong with Rookie, guys. He's just taking a break from Twitter. If you haven't noticed, Twitter's extremely toxic lately, even though its price is going up. So I don't blame him for taking a break. I like the blue and white. You must be a Leafs fan. I'm a Canucks fan, my guy, unfortunately. I think your worst take ever was thinking you'd take BitBoy in a boxing match. BitBoy would not even be in my same weight class, bro. Even though he's about 6 inches shorter than me, I imagine he's about 100 pounds heavier. I'm sorry, I don't mean to forget about you guys. I need to just stop streaming on 2 platforms and just pick one. When Vancouver meetup? I don't know. I feel like it'd be weird to host a crypto meetup. I think that's just a strange thing. Like, why would people want to meet me in person? It just seems weird. All right, guys. That's all I really had planned to cover. We talked about my, one so if Bitcoin keeps trading higher, right? Target on 1 is around 22.73. Target on Sol remains 124, 125 if we keep trading higher. And the target on Luna remains around 62. But that's about all I have planned. So we're about an hour and a half in. Does anyone have any questions? Anything that they want me to check? Why is everyone so interested in my fucking hair? Am I bald by choice? Yeah, I shaved my head by choice. My hair is thinner than it used to be. I used to have a big afro, and I'm now 31. And what happens when men get older, for a lot of us, is your hair starts to thin, son. And then it's up to you what you do. Some people keep it looking long and thin, and they wear hats or they do comb overs. Some people get hair transplants. Some people like me who don't really give a fuck about what other people think, you just start shaving it and you just fucking live with it. But I still have hair. This is hair. This is all hair on my head here. But when it's longer, it just looks thin, and I don't like how it looks. I have lots of people who tell me when it's longer that they like it, and they don't think it looks thin, but I don't care what other people think. I like how it looks when it's short like this. I feel like it looks better. I don't really have the same thinning hair that most people have. Like, a lot of people get the receding here first, right? I didn't really have that. My hairline is still here, but it's just thinner here. I don't fucking know. But I don't know why so many people are concerned about it, man. It's just hair, right? Like, fucking who cares? Okay. Have you made a milli off trading yet? What kind of questions are these, man? What indicators you get? I don't use any indicators. Do you see any indicators on here? What would you say to someone keeps blowing their trading account over and over again? Start using proper risk management. You should never blow your account. I mean, it happens naturally, but if you're doing it consistently, you're doing something wrong. So figure out what that is. You go look at previous trades and decisions you make. What are the same mistakes you keep making? Are you over leveraging? Are your position sizes too big? Are you not using stops and you're getting liquidated? Like, what are you doing wrong, right? You got to first identify the problem before you can fix it. Can I look at GALA? Sure. I mean, this looks like the exact same chart as this, basically, right? So we had a big sell-off here. I don't really know how you catch that low, because to me, I would have been watching like here, but it never came down that low. I don't know if there's something on the daily. There's nothing really here that would get me in along there. Like, there's no order block over here. that catches that low. But, right, we obviously found support. And what is this? There's a low, higher high, higher low, right? Here's your bullish order block here that caused the higher high. Right here. There's your down candle before the up move that broke market structure. There's your pop, right? Whole market popped. This popped with it. I think Samsung or something maybe made an announcement about metaverse shit after. But again, don't forget to zoom out, right? Look where we are relative to the rest of the chart. So while that's a nice move, a lot of room still to the upside. If this thing ever is going to get back to all-time high, it's got a lot of work to do, right? But nice little long there. If you caught that order block, I don't know. This guy says, do you have cancer? I regret ever making that joke about cancer because there are people who are suffering with cancer, which is obviously very serious. No, I do not have cancer. We can look at a link. I think I had some levels for the stinky linky. Not this chart. Why do I have a bazillion of the fucking same charts? There you go. There's my last trade on link. Not doing too well. I remember taking this here, and then once we had our initial bounce, I think I moved my stop up. It was originally down here, and then I moved it to here once we like did this, but obviously got stopped on that. And I haven't really looked at links since, but we still have this weekly order block here. So we've come into that weekly order block. Did we sweep this low? Not quite, but we did sweep these lows here. So it's coming out of a weekly order block after putting in a big weekly swing failure pattern. So that looks like a higher high, just about. Not yet. Has to close today, which is tomorrow, as a higher high here. But this looks potentially okay for some upside. Into weekly support. Looks like it's putting in a decent low. Obviously, will depend on what Bitcoin is doing. Dude, my hair is so thin now. I just hit 30 and grew it out the past 2 years. Yeah, man. Fucking aging. It sucks. I love your bald head, Mayne. Thank you, Matt. Mayne, do you play DFK? I don't even know what that is. Is that DeFi Kingdom? No, I don't. Should I be playing it? Is it fun? I just got an Oculus and I'm fucking hooked. I've been playing this game called Boneworks, where you're just like a dude and I can like pick up guns and like to reload it, you actually put the mag in and like cock it back and then you just shoot stuff. Like, it's pretty fun. Thoughts on using log scale on high time frame? I think the log scale is just cope because it just kind of flattens things out and it makes it look not as bad as it is. Like, oh, this dump isn't that bad, right? Like, look at the log scale, right? We're just going up. It's like, sure, this is like the log scale is legit in that, like, yeah, these bear markets are part of a massive uptrend, but it doesn't change the fact that if you bought here, you're down, 30%, right? And here you were down 80%. Just because the log scale makes it look flatter, it doesn't mean it's better. I don't know. Just not something I personally use though, but that's just my opinion. Leave Mayne's head alone, people. Thank you, Create. I appreciate that. No, I don't use volume. I think it's a good look too. Like, I feel like I'm not fucking hideous. Jesus Christ. What are your thoughts on NFTs? I've never been good with NFTs. I've never made money on NFTs. I'm the last person you should ask. There's lots of people. Moon Overlord, Keyboard Monkey, Ice Bags. There's so many guys who deal and trade NFTs way better than me. I'm not the person to ask. You ever use trading bots? No. Hey Mayne, this is a good question. When backtesting, did you try to do it during specific market conditions? I find backtesting during bull runs is inefficient because of how nuts PA gets. Yeah, it's hard to backtest and trade something that just goes straight up. I would suggest backtesting your strategy on a market you're not familiar with. Go backtest on Euro USD. where you don't know all the price levels and it's unfamiliar with you. Because if you can trade the Euro USD, you can trade any chart. You only trade off of SR levels. Are you guys new to the stream? Like, these are what my charts look like. I show you guys, I'm one of the only traders, I think, on YouTube that shows you exactly how I mark up the charts and exactly how I get into trades. I don't know anyone else who's doing it like me. I really don't. How do you manage more volatility? I mean, what are you trying to manage, right? More volatility means there's more opportunity. Can I look at XRP? Sure. I mean, what a chart. A lot of alts look the exact same right now, right? Huge jumps into weekly support and they're catching a bid. So that's what I see on XRP as well, right? Just like on GALA and on Link. Huge dump, weekly order block, weekly SFP. Found support, put in a higher low, and now it's breaking out. So interesting to see. I don't know where it's going to go from here. But yeah, same as most other altcoins. Came into weekly support, gave a good buying opportunity. We are coming into resistance here, right? This previous floor. So let's see how price reacts up here. Win 100K subs, not soon enough. Can I look at the Uni-ETH pair? I mean, sure. Seems like a weird fucking thing to be trading, but okay. The fuck am I looking at here, dude? What does this chart show? If you've been watching my altcoin videos, what does this chart show? If Uni is the numerator and ETH is the denominator, it's not about the price of each asset. What does this chart represent? Does anyone know? Good night, On the Money. Thanks for tuning in, bro. What does this represent? Anyone, put your hand up. Exactly. ETH is outperforming Uni significantly for a long ass time here. ETH is much stronger than Uni. So even if both of these are going up, ETH is going up more. If both of these are going down, ETH is going down less. ETH is the stronger asset of these two, and it's not even close for the last month plus. Now, can I find, let's see if I can do a longer term comparison. Uni USD divided by ETH USD. So here's a longer term comparison. But it shows me a very similar result. There was a period here in December, the first month of 2021. First 2 months, 3 months of 2021, Uni was outperforming ETH. Basically, for the last almost entire year, ETH has been outperforming Uni. So I don't really know what you wanted me to show with this chart, but ETH has been smoking Uni. First little bounce here in a while. I don't know, maybe it's potentially bottoming out here and Uni might start outperforming Ethereum. I don't know, but that is a big old downtrend for a year. So we'll have to see. It's like you guys are paying attention. I love it. Thank you for the message, Usuk Bayar. Hopefully I said your name right. Appreciate that. All right, guys. Anything else we want to look at? We want to discuss before I sign off here? Bitcoin is pushing. Nice little retest there. So that plan that I laid out might work out, right? Remember I said the long here, the target here, and the stop here. That looks like that's playing out right now. So let's see what happens when it pushes up into here. Can I look at LIDO? Sure. I think this is Kobe's project, right? I don't really know how to chart this. Is this the right chart? What's the best chart to chart this? Should I chart it versus Ethereum? I don't know. I don't really know what LIDO is or how it works. I mean, the chart obviously doesn't look great, but so do a lot of charts look really bad right now. But I believe it's like, isn't it a staking platform or something? But having a little bit of an uptick, I don't know. I don't really like charting shit like this, but if it gets above here, 220 to 230, if it gets above here, I think it could have some relief. LDOs. Am I charting the wrong thing? I think this is it. LIDO DAO, or is it something different? LDO. I don't know. I think this is this the right chart? I think that's the right chart. Can I look at AVAX? Sure. Again, same thing, right? Weekly order block. Okay. Weekly order block, big dump into the weekly order block. We're seeing some relief, just trending up out of the order block. Coming into weekly resistance here. So let's see how price reacts as we come into weekly resistance on a lot of these altcoins. But came into the weekly order block, started putting in bullish market structure, right? What is the entry here? I don't know. This seems like a low, higher low. There's a break in market structure. There's a bullish order block, right? Or this is a bullish order block, right? Why is this bullish order block give you the result you want? Because it's within that weekly order block, right? So you have that confluence of the high time frame. Why don't you do any algo trading? It's just not something that I do. I have certain indicators that will mark out levels and things like that of interest for me. But in terms of algorithmic trading or using bots, I'm a discretionary trader. I like doing my own trading. Right? So to me, you got to properly define algo trading. Is it an algo that trades for you, or is it an algorithm that generates levels for you or other sorts of information? Because those are two different things. Algorithms and bots that might provide information for you, where price might react, things like that, that I'm interested in, that I have experience using, right? But in terms of just like a bot that just trades with for you, that's different, right? That's not something I do. Yo, Roman, what's up, brother? We got to do another stream soon. Are you tracking LTC? Starting to look ripe. LTC has started to look ripe so many times, and it's just broken my heart every time. Like, I like this. Fuck is that noise? I like this. Kind of is a nice SR, like support hold, SFP. So I like that for sure. Probably has a chance to run up into here. Maybe even here, and then we'll kind of see. So I like it on the high time frame. LTC, BTC. Let's see how that looks. Like eventually, this thing has to fucking bounce. Like this would be a key reclaim for me. If we're able to reclaim this significant low, I think that gives this thing a good chance of seeing a rally. But like, holy shit, has this thing just been crushed for so long. But it is potentially getting ripe. I don't know. Still a little too early for me to tell. I would like to see it reclaim that level first. Thanks, John. Appreciate that, man. What do I think about Atom versus Ethereum? I mean, I think Ethereum's been the better hold for the most part, right? Sorry, guys. I gotta pee real quick. One sec. Make sure I mute the mic so you guys don't hear me piss, because y'all know I piss wicked loud. Sorry, guys. Had to rip a piss there, drain the main vein. I've been taking creatine because my trainer told me I should. And it's making me hella dehydrated. So I've been like, I've been just drinking so much water. I'm not muted anymore. I know I'm not. I know I'm not. I can see the little thing moving. Bullish order block equals candle, which initially led to the micro trend break. Go watch my video on order blocks, bro. I did an entire video on it. Looks USD. Sure, let's look at looks. So I actually got offered, I got offered the to buy into this, it wasn't a pre-sale, I guess, but I got offered to buy, or maybe it was a pre-sale. I don't know. I got offered to buy into this and I said no. And then when it pumped right away, and then people were just getting stupid money off the staking rewards, I definitely felt fucking stupid because people were just printing. But obviously it's selling off quite hard here. I don't know. Doesn't look great. It looks bad. See what I did there? Right, we came up 4-hour order block, rejected. I mean, it's gotta hold this floor here, or else it's fucking cooked. Looks is cooked if it loses this floor. So I would probably say this is my level right here. Right, so 325 up to where we are right now. This is your must-hold area for looks. If it loses that, it's making lower lows, like way lower lows. So I wouldn't short it here. This is where I'd be long biased, to be honest with you. Obviously, dependent on what the rest of the market does. But yeah, I do feel a little better about it dumping because I don't own any and I made no money on it. And I'm just jealous and salty. Crypto Cred has a great order block video. Trader Mayne has a great order block video. What the fuck? Near. I don't even know what these fucking levels are. But there you go, right? So like in an instance like this, people always ask me, do you always include the wicks on order blocks? Like this wick to me is irrelevant. Right? But this is relevant. Because if I include this wick on the order block, look what you got here. That's useless. So I'll take the open or close, right? Like this. So it's a little bit of discretion, I guess. But again, same thing. Weekly, big retrace into the weekly order block. We've got a bunch of SFPs here right into it. That's a bullish sign. You zoom in. You get that bullish break in market structure. So again, this looks like a lot of altcoins. Came into weekly support, saw a bounce, coming up into some resistance now, right? This previous floor. So let's see. Can it flip this area as support and trade higher? I don't know yet. See if I can find a better level here. Here we go. There. That's your weekly level right there. So now you zoom in. You can see we're trading right at it. So let's see if it can flip this 1353 level. I think it can go higher, but that's your resistance for now. Thoughts on using the line chart to draw levels? I'm not opposed. Oops. I'm not opposed, right? Line chart can make support and resistance and market structure seem a lot easier to read, right? So that whole weekly order block with the big spike there, you don't really see that on the line chart. You just see the trend is a lot easier to read. Okay, well, you've got a low here. There's your high that made that low. Boom, right? Here's your low that made that high. Boom. There's your two key weekly levels. This will also be a level on the upside if we get up there. So the line chart can work really well as a way to visualize market structure differently and things like that, but it isn't something I actively use personally. Doesn't mean it's not good. I already covered FBTC, so just go back earlier in the video. It's all there. All right, guys, we're at almost 2 hours here. So I think I'm probably gonna call it. Learning trading methods on here, Mayne. Glad to hear, brother. Have you ever used the HVF method? I've never heard of that. I don't know what the HVF method is. Look at mana real quick here. I'm gonna call it in a couple minutes here, so. another one where it retraced, but I don't know where you caught that low. Like there's nothing for me to catch that low or why this would be the bottom. But, you know, this is clearly an uptrend very early on. Once it formed the low, right? There's your spike low, higher low, right? This is now in an uptrend. So here's a perfect example, right? Maybe you didn't catch this or even this. You missed all of this, but at this point, you clearly have an uptrend, right? Okay, well, what am I going to do? I'm going to draw out a bullish order block, the down candle before an up move that breaks market structure. And I'm going to get in a long. Tink, boom. I already covered Solana, brother. Been snowboarding at all? Not nearly enough, man. I've only been up like 3 times this year. It sucks. Whistler's just a pain in the ass. Like it's 2.5 hours to get there. So you got to leave Vancouver at like 5 in the fucking morning. And I hate waking up early. And then you don't get home until like 6, 7 at night. It's like a serious trek. I want to go more though. I'm hopefully going to do some sort of trip before the end of the month here, somewhere in the interior, get some really good snow because I do want to go more. Yeah, I talked about LTC, so you can scroll back in the feed and find that. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed that. I hope that this was valuable to you guys as always. You know, I love doing these streams. Do me a favor. Use the Prime link in the description and the promo code Mayne50. Take advantage of that deposit bonus. Help me out. Obviously, like the video, subscribe to the channel, like the tweets, retweet them, share the video, watch it multiple times, pump those views up. You know we're on a mission to take down the shitty crypto YouTubers, and I think I'm the guy to do it. So if you want to help me on that mission, follow along. I will have the condensed version of this stream up tomorrow. And I do have an altcoin video coming up early this week as well. And hopefully an SFP video out within the next 2 weeks. That's my goal, to have the SFP educational video out. So I'm excited about that one. I will be in LA from Thursday to Tuesday for the Super Bowl weekend. So I will try and pump out a few videos this week. I'll bring my laptop with me and maybe I'll do a quick stream or something while I'm there. But there will be a little bit of gap because I will be drinking beer and watching football. Yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video as usual. Love you guys as always. Appreciate the support, and I will talk to you all soon. Thank you so much. Mwah.